Hello. So today I will be making a sign up page in PHP for the SQL and Apache and stuff. I will be using XAMPP. And let's go ahead and get the SQL page pulled up first because that helps everything. So let me open it up. It's gonna work. Oh, those are not normal ports. I was about to say. Let's see here. Or if you see over here, it crashed for some stupid reason.
Since this right here is the most important part, and I made an oopsie while recording, I'm going to go over it just to make sure that it's understood. Oh, that's what entire? Okay, so this will be the name of your column, and so for basically this one, I'm going to type in ID. You want to leave that as an integer because integer means number, and you want to come over here and make sure you select auto increment, just because you want it to increment by itself. You don't want to have to somehow make your code figure out what number and type higher and all that. Then this one will be first name, and so you want to change this right here to text, and that's all you need. You don't need to put a length, and you don't want it to be null because if somehow they pass around all of your code's protection and stuff and figure out something like that, MySQL will just reject the reject the request for input because there's a empty variable, or empty something that's not supposed to be empty. It's like after you get home from school and you found that one of your siblings has eaten your leftovers. It's empty, but it's not supposed to be. And down here is where it gets a little different. So this will be our password. But as you will see later in our video, the password hash uses a lot of random numbers and characters. So to be safer than sorry, or better be, yeah, better be like something like better be safe, not sorry, or I forgot the southern term, but you put varchar is what it will look like, or variable character, and you do require a length, so 255 is just the default that a lot of people use. And of course, you don't want it to be null and stuff. And that describes this part of the video I messed up on.
Back over to this screen. I will get this folder to open in VS Code, drag it over to here. Let's see. Now, the first thing we'll build is the form. So, index.php. Of course, we'll just do it like a normal document. There's a cool thing with emit that doesn't work in PHP for HTML. Let's see. I have to put docked type HTML just to get it to realize it's an HTML. Or maybe that's what I need to put over here. Then can I hit the... No, of course not. Okay, that's what I thought. So basically, see, it'll autofill all this out for you. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to copy that, delete that. Nobody cares. Paste it. We're going to call this, sign up page. We're going to create a form, and we're going to use the post method. This means it just hides it from the URL. Because you'll notice on some websites how the URL is really, really long. Most of that is GET requests. We're gonna leave it. Well, no, let's leave it in here. So we're gonna remove the action because by default it will just automatically send it to this form. So we're gonna need some labels. This is an emit command right here. And inputs text. I'm gonna copy this. And remember we had 5 fields, so 2, 3, 4, 5 for our fields. We're gonna change this bottom one to password, so it'll put dots instead of the password they're typing out. The name and ID will be PWD. I should have put that up there too. PWD. And so for me to create 3 cursors at the same time, I'm pressing the Alt and then in between those quotation marks. So this one will be first name. Not there. 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 This one will be last name. This one will be user email. And I spelled it wrong every single time. The same way. Good for me, I guess. And this one will be UID. Now let's load our page. Since this code, because there's no labels, let's label them. First name, last name, email. Actually, right here, we can change this type to email, and it will make sure for us. We're going to say username and password. Now, I'm going to copy this password and paste it again for the password repeated. And we're going to call this one PWD verify. Then we are going to have our button for submit. I'm going to say, sign up, something like that. Now we're going to lastly, I'm going to add a title and just say sign up page. Just makes it. Now we're going to get into the PHP side of things. So we're going to create a new file, and we're going to call this con.php. PHP, and we're going to need four variables. That'll work. Variables. DB host. DB user. DB password, and DB for database. These will all be strings, so that means they use the quotation marks or one-line quotation marks, whatever you want to call them. And for XAMPP, this is what you will type. Localhost user will be root, not root. There will be no password, but you have to have a string there. And the database is the name that we created in the beginning, so that will be users. With this, we will now begin the connection. Hold on, let me make sure I did actually call it users. Yeah, okay. We will now begin the connection by typing in con for connection. This will help so much later. MySQL I, don't forget the little I, that's going to be a common mistake. Connect, DB host, DB user, basically in the order that we created up there. DB pass, and db. We can say if exclamation mark con, which means, you know, false, because if usually checks for true, and the exclamation mark means opposite, so it checks for false. Oh, actually, we don't use that. We say if MySQL I connect ERNO, we leave those parentheses blank. We say die, which just means it'll stop the code no matter what, and it will put what we put inside these parentheses. So MySQL connections failed, more info, and then we put a dot here to mean there's more crap coming. And MySQL, no, that's not what I wanted. Li connect error. Make sure to put parentheses because it's a function. And then don't forget your little semicolons, I think those are called. I don't know. Okay. And now back in index.php, we will come up here and say PHP, and you will want to actually close these tags compared to what we did back here, just because if you close your tags here, and we're only going to have PHP in here, so you don't really need to close them, but if you do close your tags and you accidentally add some stuff, this will cause the HTTP 500 error, which means internal server error, which means yo code done messed up. Anyways, make it large enough for me. And one thing that will really help is if you have the PHP extension. So like here, it's just all in one. Then open your settings and say profiler. It's not what I wanted. Sorry, formatter, not profiler. And you'll want to do PHP. And when you hit save and it says, you know, error, PHP not found or whatever, you can tap on that error. It'll pull you up to a settings.json file. Let's see if I can find it. PHP file. PHP path. I don't know. I'm just trying to. Yeah, here we go. It'll pull you into like something that looks sort of similar to this, and then you can edit it. I already had PHP installed, so that's why I put it there. But you would most likely put something that looks like C, then the forward slash, not backslash. It looks like that. XAMPP, double slash again, PHP, double slash again, php.exe. This red bar is because I'm not doing it right, but this is what it would look like for you if you need to type it in. Close that. Okay. Anyways, we're going to say require dot slash con.php. If something happens and it can't get that file, it'll serve a 500 error saying, you know, something's messed up in your code. Now for the unfun part. Okay, that'll work. Unfun part is all the variables we need. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 to 7. I think it's actually gonna be 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And actually, we're gonna start with first name. Leave it in the order like it is down here. Last name. Am I okay? Okay. Huh. My headset shut down for some reason. First name, last name, email, UID, PWD, PWD verify, and then PWD hashed. Actually, don't worry about this right now. We'll get into that later. Now we're going to say equals to MySQLi. Let's see. Real escape string.
Is this gonna work? Okay. Oh, I'm loud. So my headset I was using died because it was wireless. So now I'm wired. Just will not happen again. Okay. I'm gonna say MySQLi real escape string. That variable con we created earlier, just to make a connection with the database, and post, which is that variable coming in from here. UID. Now we're going to have to, or sorry, not UID, first name. Now we're going to have to copy this and paste it, and paste it, and paste it, and paste it, and paste it. We're going to say here, last name. That's right, actually here. I'm going to say user email. Let's just keep it the same. User email. UID. PWD. PWD verify. Now, actually, first we really should have said down here, we're going to give this a name, just like these have, and we're going to call this little guy, get back here, cursor, submit. And up here, we're going to say, or ask basically, if is set, which means, is set, kind of in its name, and then our superglobal post submit. So it's asking if the submit button was clicked. Then we will actually run this code. Otherwise, it doesn't need to waste its time on trying to load all this stuff, because it's just going to waste the computer's time. It makes the page load faster, actually. Okay. Now we are going to put our SQL, say, insert into info. Then in these commas, we're going to put all the names of stuff that we have input and stuff. So first name. So right here are the names of the stuff in the database, of the columns in the database. First name, last name. And of course, if you name these the same, this really shouldn't matter. User email. UID and PWD. Then values, which just means this is what you're going to put in there. And we're not actually going to put the variable like first name. We're going to put question marks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We don't have to worry about the ID just because MySQLi will do that automatically for us. But the reason we're going to put question marks is to prevent SQL injection basically someone, when they're filling out your field, they start putting SQL instead of their actual information, which will then make the page display something that it doesn't need to, like someone else's password. Then we're going to say statement MySQL prepare con. Oopsie. What? No. Hold up. I don't confuse myself. That's the wrong thing to open. Google! I need your help! I did it a different way in 2 different codes, and now I'm confused! SQLi statement. I don't confuse myself. I'm confuzzled. Okay, well, we will do it the way I was going to plan on doing it anyways. How about that? We're going to say MySQLi prepare con SQL. Okay, yeah, this is going to work the way I was hoping it would. Then we're going to say if opposite of STMT or statement, which means, false, an error occurred. We're going to say die, an error occurred, the prepared statement failed. Don't forget your little semicolon or whatever it's called. And we're going to say else. MySQL statement STMT bind parameters. Again, we're going to put the statement. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 S's for, I think, strings that we're going to have here. Oopsie, hold on. Now we need to put these variables right here, except for pwd verify. We'll get to that in a second. So, UID, oopsie, wait. First name, last name, user email, UID, and PWD. Actually, we don't want to put PWD, because then if we open our database, we can see exactly what their password is. We want it to be, secure, so it's going to get hashed. This is where the verifying starts to come in. We're going to make a second PHP file called functions.php, functions.php. We're going to say function. Oh, sorry. Actually, we have to open the PHP function. PWD verify. And we need to put 2 variables, the original PWD and the second PWD for PWD verify. Then we're going to say, oh, there goes my dog's barking. If PWD does not equal PWD verify, then return true, because we're checking for errors here. So this is going to return true. There is an error. Now we're going to basically copy and paste this, but we're going to put functions. .php, just make sure we can go there, okay. And we will, before starting all of this, actually you need to put SQL there. Nope, we'll leave that there. Okay. We're going to say PWD verify, PWD verify. If this, so if this is equal to true, you can use 2 or 3, but it just really means is equal to, is exactly equal to. I don't know. We're gonna say echo, which means put something on the page. And we're going to write out our HTML for it. So I'm going to do p color equals red. Actually, let's change these to single quotes on the outside here. Let's put that like that. Red. Sorry, actually, that's not how that works. It'd be style. Color equals red, because then this is CSS right there. Align equals center. I mean, you can do whatever. Let's just not do that for now. We can change it later. And say your passwords did not match. It's probably the most human words you will write in this thing. Okay. Then we're going to say else and here's one thing I forgot to show you in settings. You can turn on format on save. That's what I want. So that's what I've enabled. Then once you hit Control S, it'll format it for you. Perfecto. Then it will start going into this spiel. And now we hash the password with pwd hashed, which equals password hash. And we're going to put the password we want, which is pwd. And we're going to say password decrypt. And that's just saying the type of encryption it's going to use. You can put default if you want to. Doesn't really matter. It'll still encrypt it either way. And now instead of pwd, we're going to add hashed to the end. So now we can't see what their password is, and we also can't type in the hashed password. Or else it's not, the same password. And that'll make more sense when you see the login video, which I'll put in the description if I make it, when I make it, one of the two. Then we're going to say MySQLi, STMT for statement, execute. We're going to put the statement name. Then we're going to say MySQLi close connection, because we're going to close a connection just for, why not, Then we're going to echo. Sorry if I'm triggering your smart assistants. I was going to say the A word and then realized that would probably also trigger it too. Yeah, we'll just basically put, p style equals. Dadgummit, man, I done messed this up again. Single quotes. P style equals. That's not the right thing. Color green. And here we'll say your account was created successfully. /p. Alright, and then we can say exit, because then that will stop the rest of the code from loading, which is the rest of this. But we want to put this in the form section of our code, so we will cut that, or Control X, and paste it right below the header, just because it'll make it look a little more better. Let's see. Now we try. Scoot it over. For our, to make sure that they don't use a UID or an email, a username or email that someone else is already using. So we're going to go to functions.php again. We're going to call for another function. We're going to say UID verify. That's just a simple name. We'll say UID user email and UID. Okay, there we go. Bruh. If no. Now here comes some more SQL, so you might just want to go to the file we just created here. Copy this right here. And paste it into here. But you will also need your con.php, or else it can't get a connection to the database. You can do it that way if you want to just say require like that. Can't format code with syntax errors. You're a syntax error. Meanie. I don't see the syntax error. Oh, oopsie. Hee hee. Oopsie. Okay, so you can say require, ./con.php, or up here you can add a third variable if you want to and make it the con. So I just think this is a little easier. Keeps it on the simple side. And this time we're not going to say insert, we're going to say select all from info where UID equals question mark, because we don't put the variable, and email equals question mark. Actually, we're not going to select all. Let's just select ID, because we know no matter what, an ID will be picked, or, put onto the database. Ouchies. Of course, we're going to say an error occurred, statement failed, and if you want to get a little more technical, we can say in the UID verify function, just to make that a little more easier, and come over here and say, in the sign up page, just for like troubleshooting later on. And we only need 2, user email and UID. And that's right, we actually have to put over here, user email. And let's put these in order. So I'm going to control click and drag it over here. No! Stop! Bro's making me turn into like Toad from Mario. And UID equals that. Okay, yeah. And we do want it to execute, but we don't want to close it and put, your account was created, because we didn't create an account yet. We're looking for something. We're going to say MySQL STMT fetch MySQL. I've kind of forgot how to do this, so give me a second. Give me a second. STMT fetch. No, I don't like that website. Oh, one more. MySQL STMT bind result from the STMT. And then we put the column names that we want. So of course just ID. Really, that's all we need, because that's what I put. Let me copy this. Then down here we put while MySQL STMT fetch STMT. We can say if empty, or actually we'll say exclamation mark empty, because we're checking for errors first. And then we will say ID, then return true. And that's all we need. Of course, after this, we should close our exit, or close our connection, then exit. So MySQL close connection. And we should try it out now. What was that laugh? Else if UID verify. We do the UID. Actually, it's user email. Hey! User email and UID. Then we're gonna just copy this up here and say the username you entered is already in use. I'm going to save it and try it out one more time. No, let's not resubmit. Actually, if we resubmit, it'll check again and it will test if our UID verify works. So let's do it. Yeah, okay, so it works just as we expect it to. But if we put some more different information in, so do so at not real dot email. I'm just coming up with random things on my mind. We're gonna say, of course, do so because that's our name. Yeah. And our password, we're gonna purposely mess up here. So the first one is totally not password, and the second one's not word pass. Your passwords did not match. That's exactly what we want to see. So let's try this again. Do so at not real email. Do so. I actually spelled email right that time. Should be in like a achievement. Then password. We're gonna do totally not word pass and word pass. There's no good job. It's just bruh. That's mean. There's no good job. Oh, oopsie. I think I found the error. So when we put exit, it stops. And so it's going to stop that even though there's no need to stop. So let's try it again. Let's see, did it actually put our information in? No, so let's try again. I'm sure. There we go. It stopped on the UID check because that's what it was told to do. And failed to, correctly do it. And there's do so. Now, if we're going to use their information, like their real name, and they put it lowercase, but you want it to be uppercase when they type it in, there is a PHP command for that. So up here, we can just say ooPSIE words for uppercase words. So we're going to copy that and just paste it right there. And ooPSIE words, just as the name is. Uppercase is the first character of each word in a string, which is, this. So their first name, let's just say they put, Sudo, but lowercase, or Su, lowercase. And then, do, lowercase, it'll make it capitalized. Now let's see if that works the way we want it to. Or reload the page. Oh, wait, sorry, I don't think I showed you none of this. I really do hope y'all saw me type all this code, because that would be annoying. But just if y'all didn't, or maybe we could just do this as a recap. Yeah. ooPSIE words, uppercases words, the first character. You got your real escape string for making sure that an SQL command just gets messed up. And so you put con and post, which is your, the variable you're looking for. The same thing for last name, all this down here. And we called for this function right here called pwd verify. Actually, you don't really need to put that equals to true, because that's what it checks for by default. And this pwd verify just basically asks if pwd and pwd verify do not equal each other, return true, because it's true there's an error. And then it'll also check with the else if command if their username is not already in use by contacting the database and being like, hey dog, you got someone with one of these credentials? And they'll be like, nah. So it'll just return false and be happy. It'll hash their hash word. Okay. It'll hash their password what the password is. Here's the SQL, insert into info, that table. And the names of the columns in the database, so first name, last name, user, email, UID, PWD. The values of question marks, because later in here, we will bind the parameters to each other, which basically just ensures even more not SQL injections. We will execute the command and close the connection to the database just for security. We'll print out something saying, woohoo, you have an account now, and then exit. So it just stops. And it won't load none of this down here. Of course, you should see that. And your connection here, the 4 variables for database information. Create the connection, do database stuff, and tell me if there's an error and what the error is and stuff, and yada yada. And most importantly,